The two fundamental questions, open questions in science today. There are about 120 of them. But the first one is, what is the universe made of? Okay, and the answer, it's an open question in science, not to Rupert, okay? Because as you heard him, it's made of nothing. He just summarized it, okay? But in science, that's a big dilemma because of the questions Christian raised. 75% is a mysterious force, which probably we shouldn't call energy anyway, but it's referred to as dark energy, which is ripping space apart faster than the speed of light. So even now, as we speak, the space between galaxies is accelerating faster than the speed of light. And the cosmic horizon, as science describes it, is 47 billion light years away from where we are. Which means beyond that, what is it expanding into? Because even space is expanding. It's a big dilemma. What is this energy or anti-gravity or what a force or whatever you want to call it? So that leaves about 30% of the universe, which is not this entity. And of that, 26% is dark matter. And it's also invisible because it's not made of atoms. It doesn't reflect light, absorb light, emit light. The only reason it's called dark matter is that it behaves like matter. It bends space-time in the same way as regular matter and is responsible for most of the gravity that holds a galaxy together. So our galaxy and all the other galaxies are held together by this invisible, non-atomic whatever it is, which leaves 4% of the universe, which is atomic. Of that, 99.99999% is invisible interstellar dust, mostly hydrogen and helium, in fact, all hydrogen and helium, that hasn't yet coalesced to form galaxies or stars. So the visible universe, with all the galaxies, all the stars, all the planets, and now we're told trillions of them, is 0.01% of what's out there. Okay? 0.01%. And that, of course, makes your body too. Your carbon in your body, the hydrogen, the oxygen, was manufactured in the crucible of stars. As I look upon you, I see you as stardust beings who are wanting to know what's going on. Okay. That's 0.01% of the universe. But that atomic visible universe, as you know, if you were in previous sessions, is made up of atoms, which are also particles. And particles have this schizophrenic nature that when they're being observed or when they're interacting with other particles, they remain particles, but if you're not looking or if they're not in relationship with other particles, then they disappear into waves, and those waves, unlike particles, have no units of mass and energy. They're just possibilities. And when you ask scientists, where are those possibilities, they say some mathematical space. Where is that? It's a mathematical space. Where is that? Shut up and calculate. So it's true. The universe is made out of invisible nothingness. It's absolutely true. And of course, you know, we've heard that before in Buddhism and other traditions, in the Sufi mystics, Rumi, who says, we come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. Look at these worlds, spinning out of nothingness, this is you. It's been said before, and of course one of the popular books right now is written by an atheist, Lawrence Krauss, who says the book is called The Universe from Nothing. And it's a very popular book. It's been on the New York Times, and it's actually a nihilistic view of the universe. So question number one, what's the universe made of? We don't know, in science. Okay, the second question in science is, what's the biological basis of consciousness? And as you know, it's called the hard problem, okay, which says the very question implies that consciousness is a product of biology. Okay, the question. So why it's called the hard problem is when I look at this, what's going to my eyes is a colorless photon. It has no dimensions. It has no color. It doesn't weigh anything. It goes to my eyes. It goes to my retina. And then it goes to my brain where there's electrochemistry. And I suddenly see these flowers. I see a three-dimensional universe. And it seems to be evolving in time. So how do photons going inside my brain create this experience that we're all having right now? That's the essence of the hard problem. We do not have an explanation for perceptual experience. And I'm giving you, sight, but we don't have an experience of any explanation for any experience of any of the five senses. We don't have an explanation. We also don't have an explanation for mental experience, thoughts, feelings, emotions, desires, memories. Where are they? And where is the person who's having the experience? So, because I have a biological background and I work with neuroscientists and we're doing some extraordinary work right now, which I'll show you with a lot of colleagues, I kind of like to ask my scientist colleagues where experience is happening and who's having the experience. Okay, so what's the most common word we use in our language, any language? I. So where is the I that is the center of all experience? Where is the I there that is having the experience of this body-mind that is called Deepak and this screen and this room? When I ask my neuroscientist friends, depending on their bias, they point to their eyes. And I remind them that, your eyes are receiving photons. Your eyes are 9 centimeters apart. By the time light gets into your retina, it is upside down because of the lens. Your retina is curved. You should be seeing two of me about this size, 9 centimeters apart, upside down and curved. Yes, something is happening in your eyes, but the experience of seeing me is not happening in your eyes. So when I point this out, they say, it's happening in my brain. They point here. So I say, how do I fit inside your brain? Okay, your brain is 9 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters. How does this room fit inside your brain? How does the Milky Way galaxy that you see fit inside your brain? I know something's happening in your brain, but the eye of experience is not in your brain. So some of them at this point will say, they'll point to me, and they'll say, I'm having the experience of you there, where I'm standing, or I'm having the experience of the stars there. But then I point to them, you are here, how can you have the experience of something there? You see, this becomes very absurd after a while. The I, that is the center of all experience, cannot be found. Not in the brain, not in the body, nowhere in the universe. So it leads to possibly two conclusions. I doesn't exist, it's a hallucination. But then that leads to a problem, nor does the universe, because if there's no I to experience the universe, then the universe is a hallucination too. So how do we solve this dilemma? And I think you heard it from Rupert. The I of experience is dimensionless. It has no location in space-time. It is unimaginable. It is inconceivable, because being dimensionless, you can't imagine anything that is without dimensions, right? So as Rupert said, infinity is not some vastness of space. Eternity is not some eternal time. Infinity is inconceivable, unimaginable, dimensionless, but without which we would not have this experience. Okay, so in the next few minutes, I'm going to track the history of scientific thought to lead you to the conclusion that you already heard from Rupert. But I'm going to do it very quickly.
Deepak?
Yeah?
Your slides are on your computer? This is the one about you.
No, the human universe.
Okay, it's up now.
Okay. So I'll quickly go through the history of thought. When we look at the universe, the way people have thought about it. So I'm going to go back a little bit. This is, of course, the universe of the Bible, right? God created the universe and basically is the source and origin of life and mind. This is where we might end up, but with a slightly different interpretation of this universe. Then you see the classical universe, which is obviously created and ruled by fixed laws of nature known through human reason and logic. And then, you know, this is not just Newton, but all these wonderful philosopher scientists that were part of this understanding of classic universe, laws of motion, universal gravitation, Kepler's laws of planetary motion, which Newton elaborated upon, the laws of thermodynamics, which came much later, and so on. And this universe then, of course, gave way to the relativistic universe of Einstein, who had two theories: the special theory of relativity, where mass and energy equivalence was found. Energy is equal to mc squared. There's a fixed limit of the speed of light, and the speed of light is a constant for all frames of reference. And then the general theory of relativity, which basically gave us the theory of gravity as the bending of space-time and gravitational time delay. And that then was, in a way, a universe much more dynamic than all the previous universes. And then, of course, we had the quantum universe, where Einstein was also a participant, although reluctantly. And these were the early pioneers of quantum physics, and our own Henry Stapp was part of that tribe. So here, the quantum universe deals with the behavior of electrons, photons, elementary particles, and these then, of course, have this wave-particle duality. The movement of atoms is random, and there's all these things that you've been hearing about from, you know, Stuart Hameroff, superposition, observation causes collapse, although he doesn't subscribe to that, OR, orchestrated reduction, and non-locality are some of the features of the quantum mechanical universe. Now, if you go to Wikipedia, you'll see that there are at least 15 to 20 interpretations of quantum mechanics. So interpretations are sets of statements which attempt to explain quantum mechanics beyond the recipes it gives for calculations. And this is what people discuss. So this is Wikipedia page on the interpretation of quantum mechanics. Okay? I'm not going to spend time going over this, but it should give you some clue that nobody knows what's going on. Okay? All we know is the math works. What does it mean? No one knows. Okay, so then earlier this morning we heard Henry Stapp talk about the Copenhagen interpretation, which says that until a measurement is made, there's no particle. There are only possibilities. And until recently, this has been the most popular interpretation. But now there are all these other guessing games that have come up. Superstrings and many worlds and multiverse and M theory and eternal inflation, which, by the way, is the most popular right now, described by Andre Linde. Basically, it's a very difficult mathematical concept, but he gives the metaphor that imagine there is a cosmic casino. And in that casino, there are an infinity of slot machines. And they're throwing up coins every moment of time, all infinity of them. And if the coin comes back heads up, it doubles in size. If it comes back tails, then it halves in size. And if you have a situation where there's an infinity of tails, almost, then it keeps halving in size till it gets to Planck scale, and then it escapes through a hole in the cosmic casino and spins off into a universe. Talk about being bizarre, okay? And of course, he has the mathematics for it, and this is the most popular theory, that because there's an infinity of such events in an infinite casino, then we happen to have hit the jackpot. But not only we, there might be an infinity of universes, 10 to the power of 500, because in an infinite casino, there's an infinite chance of these happenings. So I'm not going to waste time in this. I think what we call science or cosmology has become a mathematical guessing game with no possible proof, no theoretical possible proof. So what it has led to is an uncertain universe, where the fabric of nature, through the methodologies through which we do science, has come to a dead end. And that includes all these other conundrums, the nature of dark matter, energy, and the fact that the visible universe is only 0.01% of what exists out there. And so other people, including Menas Kafatos and Amit Goswami, have started to talk about the conscious universe, that random events are not enough to explain the laws of nature, which are very fine-tuned, often referred to as the weak and strong anthropic principle, and the fact that, based on the undeniable fact that we can only know these laws through consciousness, the only universe you and I can talk legitimately about is the human universe, which is rooted in consciousness, because we are viewing not the real universe based on limitations on the brain, but the universe that we experience and know in consciousness as the modified modulations of consciousness or the excited states of consciousness. So when Rupert came and spoke, I think he defined consciousness as that in which experience occurs, in that in which experience is known, and that which makes for the experience of the material world, that the material world is in fact made out of consciousness. The universe is made out of consciousness, is experienced in consciousness, and is known in consciousness. So this would be the new formula then. U is equal to C, right? The universe is consciousness. And of course, this goes back to the Vedanta, which says, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the universe. So before you go, after you go past the secret passages and the dark alleys and the ghost-filled attics of your conditioned separate mind, you find that you are the universe. Aham Brahmasmi. In fact, in Sanskrit, the word for consciousness is Brahman, and the word for universe is Brahmand. The universe as the activity of consciousness within consciousness, experienced and known by consciousness. Rupert said something very important. The universe is not a thing, it's an activity. Okay? So what's it, and this is the translation of the Sanskrit word, Tattvamasi. That thou art. That is who you are. You are the universe. Okay, so you could be an atheist until you realize that you are God. In drag. Okay, that Tattvamasi means that is who you are, that is who I am, that is what all this is. Okay? Okay, there is only consciousness, there is only God.